Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA amidst a whirlwind of hype and expectations. She was a college superstar, a walking highlight reel, but some weren't convinced of her potential. WNBA legends Geno Auriemma and Diana Taurasi, in particular, voiced their doubts openly. They questioned if Clark's slight frame could handle the league's intense physicality. Could she really thrive against the best players in the world, night after night? Auriemma and Taurasi weren't alone in their skepticism. Many wondered if Clark's flashy style would translate to the professional level. The WNBA was a different beast altogether. Could she handle the relentless defense, the bigger, stronger opponents? Only time would tell. The WNBA is a gauntlet for even the most talented rookies. It's a league where only the strongest survive, and every game is a test of skill, endurance, and mental toughness. Caitlin Clark's introduction to the league was no different. From the moment she stepped onto the court, she was met with challenges that would test her limits. Night after night she faced elite defenders who were bigger, stronger, and more experienced. These seasoned players knew how to exploit any weakness, making every game a battle. Angel Reese, a force in the paint, used her physicality to disrupt Clark's drives to the basket. Her presence was a constant reminder of the physicality of the league. Dejanai Carrington, known for her defensive intensity, hounded Clark all over the court. Her relentless pressure was a lesson in the importance of resilience. These matchups were a crash course in the realities of the WNBA. Each game was a new lesson, each opponent a new teacher. It wasn't just Reese and Carrington. The entire league seemed to be on a mission to test the rookie's mettle. Every team had a defensive specialist eager to shut down the rookie phenom. They saw her as a challenge, a player to be contained. Clark quickly learned that she couldn't rely solely on her speed and skill. She had to adapt, to find new ways to outsmart her opponents. She needed to find ways to handle the physicality, to hold her ground against bigger opponents. This meant hours in the gym, building strength and endurance. The doubters saw what they expected to see. They were quick to point out her struggles, her moments of hesitation. Clark, at times, looked overwhelmed. The pressure was immense, and it showed in her performance. Her shot selection was questionable, her turnovers were up. The speed and intensity of the league were exposing her weaknesses. The league, it seemed, was exposing her weaknesses, but every struggle was a step towards growth, every challenge an opportunity to improve. Caitlin Clark is not one to back down from a challenge. Faced with criticism and doubts about her ability to handle the physicality of the WNBA, she responded the only way she knew: how: hard work. Clark attacked the offseason with a vengeance. She knew she needed to get stronger, to add muscle to her frame. No more getting pushed around, no more shying away from contact. It was time to level up. Her days were filled with grueling workouts, weightlifting sessions, and hours spent honing her skills. She worked tirelessly on her ball handling, her shooting, her ability to finish through contact. Failure was not an option. Clark's dedication was evident to everyone around her. She wasn't just going through the motions, she was on a mission. The doubters had fueled her fire, and she was determined to prove them wrong. The whispers started during the WNBA offseason. Caitlin Clark was putting in work, transforming her body and her game. But seeing is believing, and when training camp opened, the whispers turned into roars. Caitlin Clark was different. Gone was the slender rookie. In her place stood a more imposing, muscular guard. Coach Stephanie White confirmed the transformation. Caitlin's work ethic is off the charts. She's added muscle, she's more explosive, she's ready to dominate. The changes weren't just physical. Clark's demeanor had shifted. She carried herself with a newfound confidence, a quiet intensity that hadn't been there before. She knew what she was capable of, and she was ready to show the world. The WNBA had put her through the fire, and she had emerged stronger, tougher, ready to silence the doubters. The league had underestimated Caitlin Clark at their own peril. A storm was brewing. Caitlin Clark's off-season training wasn't just about bulking up, it was about addressing her weaknesses and becoming a more complete player. She knew that to compete at the highest level, she needed to refine every aspect of her game. She worked tirelessly on specific areas of her game that needed improvement. This wasn't just about putting in hours, it was about smart, targeted training. Handling pressure defense was a major focus. She knew that elite defenders would test her limits, so she prepared meticulously. Clark spent hours dribbling through cones, navigating tight spaces, and learning to maintain her composure with defenders draped all over her. This helped her develop the poise needed to excel under pressure. She knew that to succeed in the WNBA she needed to be able to create her shot under duress. This meant practicing her shooting in high-pressure situations. Improving her mid-range game was another priority. She understood that versatility in scoring would make her a more formidable opponent. Clark worked on her pull-up jumper, her floater, her ability to score from all areas of the court. She wanted to be unpredictable and keep defenders guessing. She knew that expanding her offensive repertoire would make her a more difficult matchup for defenders. This included mastering a variety of moves and shots. Finally, Clark focused on finishing through contact. She practiced scenarios where she would be fouled, ensuring she could still score. She spent hours in the weight room, building strength in her core and legs. This physical conditioning was crucial for her endurance and power on the court. She practiced absorbing contact at the rim, learning to finish plays despite being fouled. This resilience would be key in high-stakes games. The days of being pushed around were over. Clark's comprehensive training regimen ensured she was ready to dominate in the WNBA, both physically and mentally. The 2025 WNBA season started, and it was clear, Caitlin Clark was not the same player. She had transformed herself over the offseason, both physically and mentally, into a powerhouse on the court. She wasn't just surviving contact, she was initiating it. Her aggressive play style was a stark contrast to her previous seasons. She bumped defenders off their spots, fought for rebounds with tenacity, and finished through fouls with authority. Her presence on the court was commanding, and she made sure everyone knew it. The days of being bullied were over. Clark had developed a resilience that was palpable in every game. Clark met the physicality of the league head-on. She no longer backed down from challenges but faced them with a newfound confidence. She used her newfound strength to create space for herself, to power through double teams, and to back down smaller guards in the post. Her versatility made her a nightmare for defenders. Her improved strength and balance were evident in her drives to the basket. She maneuvered through defenses with a grace that belied her power. She no longer shied away from contact, instead embracing it, using it to draw fouls and get to the free throw line. Her ability to convert these opportunities into points was crucial for her team. The league had underestimated her resolve. Her determination to prove herself was evident in every play, every drive, and every shot. Clark's transformation was a testament to her work ethic and her unwavering belief in herself. She had spent countless hours in the gym, honing her skills and building her strength. She had taken the doubts, the criticisms, and used them as fuel to become a force to be reckoned with. Her performances silenced her critics and inspired her teammates. The WNBA had been put on notice. Caitlin Clark was no longer just a player, she was a dominant force, reshaping the game with every move she made. 12 pounds of muscle, a ton of confidence. The numbers told the story of Caitlin Clark's off-season transformation. She had packed on 12 pounds of muscle, focusing on her shoulders, core, and legs. The results were evident in every aspect of her game. Her increased strength allowed her to maintain her balance through contact, finishing at the rim with a newfound power. Her core strength gave her stability when shooting off the dribble, resulting in a more consistent jump shot. But the most significant change was in Clark's confidence. She no longer doubted her ability to compete at the highest level. She knew she belonged. The physical transformation had ignited a mental one. The 12 pounds of muscle were just the tip of the iceberg. Caitlin Clark had tapped into a well of determination and grit that had always been there. Now it was on full display. Proof in the footage. Social media buzzed with clips of Caitlin Clark's off-season workouts. The grainy footage showed a different player, one who was stronger, faster, and more explosive. The transformation was undeniable. One video showed Clark powering through a series of weighted squats, her legs like steel pistons. Another showed her dribbling through a gauntlet of defenders, absorbing contact without losing her balance. The videos provided a glimpse into the work that Clark had put in, the countless hours of sweat and sacrifice. They showed a player who was not content with being good, she wanted to be great. The footage served as a warning to the rest of the league. Caitlin Clark was coming, and she was bringing a whole new level of intensity. The doubters were about to be silenced. Ready to rewrite the record books. Analysts, once skeptical, were now singing Caitlin Clark's praises. Some predicted she could average 25 points and 15 assists per game, a feat never before accomplished in the WNBA. Others believed she could lead her team to a championship. The hype was real, and for good reason. Clark had all the tools to be a generational talent. She had the vision, the passing ability, and now the strength and athleticism to match. The WNBA had never seen a player quite like Caitlin Clark. She was a unique blend of skill, athleticism, and basketball IQ. The league was about to witness something special. The doubters had inadvertently unleashed a monster. By questioning her, They had given her the motivation to push herself harder than ever before. Caitlin Clark was ready to rewrite the record books. Fueling the fire, Geno Auriemma and Diana Taurasi's initial doubts about Caitlin Clark, while perhaps well-intentioned, had inadvertently lit a fire under the young star. Their skepticism, instead of discouraging her, had fueled her incredible transformation. Clark used their words as motivation, a reminder that she had something to prove. She channeled their doubts into an off-season of relentless work, transforming her body and her game. Now, poised to dominate the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was the embodiment of the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." The doubters, in their own way, had helped to create a force to be reckoned with. Caitlin Clark's story was far from over. In fact, it felt like it was just beginning, and this time, she was writing the script.